A young man named Desmond works as an accountant in the office of a large corporation, specializing in the development and production of advanced weapon systems. On one typical Monday morning, he finds himself, as usual, running late for work. While riding the office elevator, he encounters his colleague, Samantha, who teases him about his habitual tardiness and presents him with a digital wristwatch. According to her, this gift is meant to help him become more punctual and organized. When Desmond finally reaches his desk, he is unexpectedly summoned by Nicholas, the chief engineer of the weapons department. Nicholas demands that Desmond expedite the processing of orders. To emphasize his point, or perhaps just for his own amusement, Nicholas demonstrates the power of a mini rocket by detonating it in the lab, targeting a pig carcass. Unfortunately for Desmond, he ends up covered head to toe in blood and bits of meat. To recover from the unsettling incident, Desmond retreats to a supply room with a few colleagues. There they use homemade cigarettes to relax and distract themselves from the stressful environment. As they unwind, an announcement echoes through the office's internal communication system, summoning all employees to a motivational seminar. Reluctantly, the staff gathers in the conference room, where the corporation CEO Gant launches into a long-winded and pompous speech. Exhausted by the meaningless presentation, Desmond decides to discreetly leave the building and head home. The next day, Desmond once again arrives late. In his haste, he forgets his ID badge, as usual. Oddly, the security guards at the entrance are nowhere to be found, and the security officer, who typically naps at his station in the lobby, is now completely motionless. Not noticing anything suspicious, Desmond hurries past. Little does he know, the guard has been dead for some time, with a ceramic mug lodged in the back of his head. Upon entering the building, Desmond initially overlooks the troubling signs around him. Bloodstains cover the walls, and the mutilated bodies of his colleagues are strewn across the floor. The secretary informs him that the chief accountant, Nussbaum, is waiting for him in his office. When Desmond enters, he notices a strange can of an energy drink called out on Nussbaum's desk, a product supposedly developed specifically for military use. Nussbaum's behavior is more than unsettling. With a nearly manic expression, he silently sharpens pencil after pencil with an electric sharpener. Moments later, Desmond is horrified to discover the lifeless body of a colleague under the desk, the man's back riddled with pencils like a hedgehog's spines. Nussbaum suddenly loses his temper over a typo in Desmond's report. With unnatural strength, he hurls Desmond through the office door, leaving him sprawled on the floor. It finally dawns on Desmond that something is terribly wrong. His co-workers have become deranged, and the office is swarming with enraged employees ready to attack. Hiding behind a partition, Desmond observes another accountant furiously pounding on a keyboard. When Desmond tries to speak to him, the man snaps angrily and takes a sip of the same energy drink. Desmond recalls that the office had recently been stocked with numerous cans of this suspicious beverage, leading him to suspect that the drink is the cause of the widespread madness. As Desmond attempts to leave, he accidentally trips over a cable, sparking a confrontation with another colleague who had been editing a video. The enraged man attacks Desmond, but Desmond manages to defend himself by striking him with a wooden board. Seeking refuge, Desmond locks himself in a supply closet and calls a helpline, desperately asking them to contact the police. However, he quickly realizes that the call center staff have also consumed the energy drink and are equally unhinged. Pretending to be as obsessed with work as everyone else, Desmond quietly slips out of the office. Just as he nears the exit, the watch Samantha gave him emits a loud alarm. The sound reminds Desmond of Samantha, who might now be in grave danger. Rushing to her office, he finds that she has already consumed the energy drink. Samantha attacks him, but Desmond manages to knock her out with a heavy book. He then secures her to a utility cart with duct tape, using it to transport her out of the building without falling victim to her bouts of uncontrollable aggression. Unexpectedly, Desmond is ambushed by his friend and colleague Murat. However, it quickly becomes clear that Murat has also avoided drinking the energy beverage. Relieved, they join forces to escape the office, now overrun by zombified employees. At the same time, another conflict brews in the office. The chief accountant, Nussbaum, and the head of the advertising department engage in a heated argument over control of the situation. However, their disagreement ends violently. The head of the advertising department literally loses his head. Nussbaum uses an empty energy drink can as an improvised weapon, hurling it with such force that it acts like a shuriken. Meanwhile, Desmond and his companions attempt to leave the office, but all exits are blocked. The stairwell has turned into a gruesome battleground where frenzied employees fight each other. The elevator is also out of service. Its cabin lies in a heap of rubble at the bottom of the shaft. Desmond devises a risky plan to break a window and escape through it. However, their attempt activates the building's anti-terrorism security system, and the entire structure is sealed off with armored plates. To deactivate the security system, They must reach the penthouse, where the control center is located. This floor belongs to the corporation's CEO Gant. However, the journey is fraught with danger. The floors they need to traverse are swarming with employees driven mad by an experimental energy drink. To avoid drawing attention, Desmond and his friends decide to pretend to be aggressive zombies, like everyone else. This allows them to pass the first floor relatively unscathed, but they eventually encounter Gant's secretary. Under the influence of the drink, she has become incredibly strong, forcing the group to use improvised items to subdue her. On the next floor, in the art department, they face a new threat. Enraged female employees begin advancing on them menacingly. There they also meet their colleague, Lanford, who is completely unaware of what is happening. He came to the office to sign some documents and only now notices the blood, corpses and crazed faces around him. Samantha, trying to divert attention, starts airing out the gossip the women had spread about one another. This sparks an argument among the employees, allowing the escapees to slip away unnoticed. Next, their path is blocked by sales managers armed with anything they can find. The group crafts makeshift weapons, mock spears, and attempts to fight their way through the crowd. During the skirmish, Murat accidentally kills one of the employees, who, as they later discover, was normal like then and hadn't consumed the energy drink. Despite this, the group presses on until armored doors suddenly open and janitors appear. The janitors help Desmond and his companions gain access to Gant's penthouse. Inside, Gant explains that the energy drink was developed to enhance soldiers' focus and endurance in battle. However, its side effects proved unpredictable and destructive. It turns out the drink spread throughout the office thanks to a fired scientist. Seeking revenge for the project's failure, Desmond demands an antidote for Samantha, but Gant reveals that the only person capable of helping is the chief engineer, Nicholas, the same man who had earlier pranked him by dousing him in pig scraps. However, reaching the weapons development department, where Nicholas is located, becomes nearly impossible due to the chaos in the building. At that moment, surveillance monitors show Nussbaum and his followers demanding that the building be unlocked. Gant refuses, enraging the mob. They begin smashing through walls to break in. In the chaos, Lanford, succumbing to panic, drinks a can of the energy drink and, now deranged, charges toward a breached hole, but is killed by a firefighter's axe. Gant arms himself with a double-barreled shotgun, trying to defend himself and the others by shooting the intruders breaking into the penthouse. However, he realizes the odds are against him. He locks himself and the group in his private office, but even this doesn't save them from an attack. Nussbaum bursts in, cuts off Gant's hand, and finishes him off with a shot. Before leaving, he orders his followers to kill the remaining survivors. Desmond, in a desperate attempt to save himself, shoots at a vase filled with ammunition, triggering a powerful explosion that wipes out all the enemies in the room. Using Grant's arm, the infected manage to unlock the security system, disabling the building's defenses. Nussbaum safely releases his followers into the warehouse, where the entire stockpile of energy drinks is stored. Meanwhile, the friends bring the weakened Samantha to the lab of the chief engineer Nicholas. He explains that to create an antidote capable of saving her, they need a rare chemical reagent stored in the warehouse. The problem is that the warehouse is now teeming with zombie employees, making access nearly impossible. The heroes decide to embark on the dangerous mission. Along the way, they find weapons in the corporate museum, where the company's prototypes are on display. Among the items, Murat picks up a flamethrower, hoping to fend off the aggressive employees. At first it works. The bright flames force the crowd to retreat. However, the fuel quickly runs out, and the friends are forced to retreat, using improvised weapons to defend themselves. At the warehouse, they find a cargo cart, which becomes an improvised vehicle for Desmond. He sits on it and, armed with an automatic rifle, starts shooting at enemies while his friend pushes the cart forward. This tactic helps the group reach the box containing the necessary components for the antidote. But just as they reach their goal, the chief accountant unexpectedly appears from around the corner. He's wearing an experimental combat suit recently developed by their corporation. The suit is equipped with a rocket gun system, and the accountant opens fire on the heroes. Murat, tasked with delivering the life-saving reagent back to the engineer, tries to slip away but is attacked by a deranged colleague. Under the influence of the energy drink, the colleague's long-held racist beliefs are amplified, and he charges at Murat with rage. At this moment, Murat displays incredible strength and determination, overpowering his aggressive opponent. A primal fury awakens in him, enabling him to defeat the attacker. Meanwhile, Desmond, still armed with automatic weapons, continues shooting at the approaching zombie employees. Unexpectedly, he reunites with Murat, who has escaped the fight, and Samantha, who is regaining her strength. Now the reunited group heads for the exit. On their way, they rig the corridors with explosives they found to protect themselves from pursuers. However, when Nussbaum and the remnants of his group pass by the columns, the heroes attempt to trigger the explosion, but nothing happens. In their haste, they forgot to install the detonators. Desmond comes up with a new idea. He throws one of the mines directly under the feet of an approaching zombie. As the zombie steps on it, the powerful explosion collapses the building, destroying all the crazed employees along with the corporation's infrastructure. Against the backdrop of a fiery blaze, Desmond, Murad and Samantha finally emerge into freedom. As it all comes to an end, a grateful Samantha finally reveals her true feelings for Desmond and passionately kisses him. In the background, police cars and ambulances rush to the scene. The heroes stand, watching the commotion, realizing they have just escaped from a living hell. And so the story ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you for being with us.